Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I'm going to be teaching us how to cut this tube dress that has a Basque waistline with a knot shoulder strap. So if this is something you like, please stay tuned to the end of the video as I show you the step-by-step process on how to go about cutting and drafting this beautiful style. So now let's get right into it. So as usual, I've gone ahead to mark out the shoulder line, the chest line. So the chest line is your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 plus 1 inch for shoulder slope. So you get your bust point, whatever is your bust point, you mark it. Then you also mark your under bust measurement, just as you can see, your bust point, your under bust, your front waistline. The front waistline and back waistline, they are different. Then you also mark your waist to your hip measurements, your waist to your upper hip, so whatever you have, you mark it. Next up, I'm going to be placing half of the shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and on the chest line. So if yours is 16 inches, you divide it by 2, so you roll a straight line. So this basic neck width I'm marking is 3 inches, then 1 inch for shoulder slope. You go ahead and connect the points. So next up, you get the midpoint here, then you come in by half of an inch. So you connect all the points together so that you can have your armhole curve. You connect the points together into the chest line this way. You can get your armhole curve, just as you can see. Next up, you are going to be placing half of your bust span or half of your nipple to nipple measurements on the bust point line all through to the hip line, just as you can see. Then you draw a straight line across. So you connect all the 3 points together, just as you can see. You draw a straight line across. So on the waistline, I'm just going to mark 0.5 inches on both sides. So I'm going to connect it on both sides to the bust point, just as you can see, and also connect it to the hip line, just as you can see. So next up, I'm going to be placing quarter of the bust measurement on the chest line, quarter of the waist measurements plus the dart intake you took, then quarter of the hip measurement on the hip line. So you go ahead and connect all the points together, just as you can see. And to contour the under bust, so here I'm going to divide the under bust circumference by 4. So whatever I have, I'm going to mark it here. So I was left with 1 inch. So I'm going to share 1 inch on both sides, on the center front and on the side front. So on the center front, I marked about 0.25. And see, then on the side front, I marked about 0.75. So I'm just going to connect it to the bust point. So if you have a particular way you contour your under bust and you know it always work for you, please, you can go ahead and do that. Do you guys understand? So you can go ahead and use that method. So then I'm just going to go ahead and connect it to the bust point. And see, then I'm going to go ahead and connect it to the dart leg on the waistline, just as you can see. You need to determine the length of the back. So from the waistline, I marked about 6 inches. Yours can be 7 or 8. It depends on the length you want. So I marked about 6 inches, or it can be even shorter. It just depends on how you want the backs to be. So I wrote a straight line across. So now the length of your gown depends on what you want. So in this case, I'm just trying to figure out the length. So let's just assume that the length that we are working with is 35 inches. Do you guys understand? This is a short dress. So let's assume 35 inches. So like I said, 35 inches. So by the side of the waistline, below the waistline, you come down by 3 inches or 2 inches. Just depends on what you want. So I mark 3 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it to the center front to give you that curvy, that round shape effect. You can see what I have. So because of this dart, I'm going to close this dart and withdraw the line so that the line can be equal. So just close up the dart, then you withdraw your line, just as you see me do. The difference between the front and back waistline is 1 inch. So I'm going to mark 1 inch below the bust point. Then I'm going to connect it to the nipple to nipple line, just as you can see at that point. That's the bust point. So up next, you are going to get the midpoint of the shoulder. then you connect it to the bust point, just as you can see. Roll a straight line. So next up, now you are going to determine how high or low you want your chest line to be. Do you get? So in this case, I'm marking 2 inches above the chest line. So whatever you want to do at that part entirely depends on you. Do you guys understand? So at the center front contouring, I mark 0.75. Then by the side, I mark 0.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the points together, just as you can see. I'm going to take note of which dart leg is more. So the dart leg on the side front is more than the center front. So whatever I have on the center front, I'm going to place it to the side front there. Then I'm just going to roll a straight line so that it's going to be equal, just as you can see. So next up, I'm going to connect it from that dart line, that second dart leg, into the armhole. Just make sure that you find a way to make it blend into the armhole, just as you can see. So I'm just trying to blend it with my pencil this way. So if you notice that the shape around the front is like round, so at the center front, after that chest line over bust, I went up by 0.25 or half of an inch, just to give it that curvy effect. So I'm just going to connect this into the first dart leg, just as you see me do, just to give it that curve effect, that round effect. Do you guys understand? So that's the reason for that. So next, you're going to take note of this line, this shoulder line, to that over bust. So here I have about 6 inches. So this is like length for the front strap. So it's about 6 inches for the front. So you take note of that. So now for the back, I've gone ahead to mark the chest line, just like we did for the front. The front waistline and the back waistline are different. Their difference is 1 inch. And you mark your waist to your upper hip. Your waist to your upper hip, whatever you have, you mark it down, just as you can see. So the process we do for the front, we are going to do it for the back. So half of your shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and on the chest line. So you go ahead and draw a straight line across. Basic neck width is 3 inches, 1 inch shoulder slope. You connect the points together, as you can see. So you get the midpoint from your shoulder line to your chest line, then come in by half of an inch. You connect all the points together, just as you can see. So next up, you are going to be placing quarter of your bust measurement on the chest line. So quarter of your waist measurement on the waistline and quarter of your hip measurement on the hip line. So you go ahead and roll a straight line across, just as you can see. Just draw a straight line across this. We are going to mark the length of the backs, just like what you mark at the front, 6 inches. So you go ahead and draw a straight line across, just as you can see. So below the waistline by the side, for the front we use 3 inches. So you're also going to mark 3 inches for the back as well. So you mark 3 inches below the waistline. So you use your curvy ruler to connect it to the center back this way. So you carefully connect it this way, just as you can see. So now we're going to be snatching the waist by 2 inches. So 2 inches divided by 4 is going to give you half of an inch. 2 inches divided by 4 is going to give you half of an inch. So we are snatching the waist by 2 inches. So in this case, let's assume the waistline I'm working with is 32. 32 minus 2 is 30. So 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. So I'm marking 7.5 plus that intake. So whatever I have left is half of an inch. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it this way. So this way I'll snatch the waist by 2 inches. So I'm also going to go ahead and snatch the back as well. You go ahead and snatch the back. So I'm just going to mark 7.5. So 2 inches divided by 4 is 0.5 inches. So what I have left there is 0.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it. So this way the waist has been snatched. So below the waistline on the center back, I came down by 0.5 inches. 0.5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it into the chest line by the side. You can see what I have there. So next up, we are going to determine how open the back should be. So at this point, I marked 1.5 inches, and at this other point, I marked 1.5 inches as well. So I'm going to draw a straight line across, just as you can see. So this is where you're going to be infusing your lacing bar to get. So this is what you are going to have. So next up, you get the midpoints of the shoulder. You can see what I have there. So then you mark how long it is. So from that point to that point is about 8.5 inches. So you take note, that is the like strap length for the back. So it's 8.5 inches, while the front is about 6 inches. So now we're going to go ahead and cut. So guys, if you've not liked this video at this point, please kindly do so, and don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share. So you go ahead and cut off your pattern. So you are going to open up the bust start this way, then go ahead and close it up. You reshape the line, then cut off the excesses, just as you can see. So this is the front. We are done cutting the front, so we'll go ahead and cut the back pattern as well, just as you can see. So by the time we are done cutting, this is what we have for the front and the back. And now let's talk about the strap. So if you remember vividly well, that the front strap that we took note of was about 6 inches, while the back was about 8.5 inches. You can see. So you are going to add them together. So what we have is going to be 14.5 inches. So you are going to take out 1 inch from it. That 1 inch you are taking out from it is for it to be very firm. It's for firmness. So we are going to have 13.5 inches. But when you are cutting your strap, I would suggest that you cut like a longer one, maybe like 15 inches in length. Maybe add like extra 3 inches for it. Do you guys understand? So now let's assume that this is our strap. So you're making sure that you leave half of an inch from the starting point. Do you understand? You leave half of an inch from the starting point. So let's assume this is our strap. So first off, you are going to tie it. You are going to tie it in a way that you are going to be having half of an inch left. So I'm just trying to use this as an example. Having half of an inch left. So this half of an inch that you are tying is what you are going to be inserting into the shoulder. Do you understand? So make sure you have half of an inch left. Okay, so now you take your bead. So this is the size of bead I have, is very small. You take your bead, so you tie it like a knot. You tie it closely. You can see what I'm doing. You tie it in a way, this way. Then you knot it. You can see what I have. Then you take another one. You take another one. Then you tie it again. So like I said, the actual length of your strap should be 13.5. But I suggest that you cut a longer one, maybe like 15 or 16. So by the time you are knotting, so by the time you get to 13.5, you stop. Then you leave about half of an inch left at the other end, so that you'll be able to add it to the back. So when you join this to your front strap, then the other one goes to the back. So that is that about this strap. So now let's move to the bottom parts of our dress. Remember that the half length I worked with was 16.5 plus 3 inches of that back below the waistline is going to give me 19.5. So the actual length 13.5 minus 19.5 is going to give me 15.5. So now, let's assume the first layer and the second layer of our dress, and the second layer. So the first layer could be, just determine how you want the first layer to be. The first layer that you can see above the dress. So the second layer is the one that is beneath it. That is beneath the first layer. So the second layer is going to be 15.5. So you assume how long you want the first layer. That's your upper part. So let's say 7.5 inches. Just as you can see. So you just determine what you want for that part. And to get the circumference, by the time you've joined the upper parts together, the front piece and the back piece, by the time you've joined them together, so whatever you have around the circumference, whatever you measured, so I suggest that whatever you measure, either you multiply it by 2 or by 3. Just depends on how full you want it to be. So then you run your gathers all through. So that's that for you to join the dress. So now I've come to the end of this tutorial. See you guys in my next video. Bye.